I got back from Moonrise Festival a few weeks ago, so I am ready to talk about all things security, production, food vendors, transportation, weather, and so much more. So let's get started because I have a lot to say for this Moonrise Festival 2022 review. The first thing that we are going to talk about is the food vendors slash drinks. So the food and drink vendors. I didn't get much at Moonrise. I only got a slice of pizza, lemonade, Liquid Death, and a beatbox. But Liquid Death and beatbox doesn't really count because those are just drinks. But I can let you guys know about the pizza and the lemonade, which isn't much, but it's something. The pizza, I wouldn't say it was good. I would say it was all right. It was pizza, but if I could go back and choose something else other than the pizza, I would. I only got a cheese pizza, so there wasn't really any toppings, but yeah, wasn't that good. I also got a lemonade and it was all right. It was kind of watered down. It was very watered down lemonade, which kind of sucked. But it was a lot. It was in this like really huge container, and we only got the lemonade because we wanted to use the container for water because it was so hot. And I'll touch on the weather later in this video, but yeah, we got the lemonade, and then once we drank the lemonade, we used the cup to pour water on ourselves. So I probably wouldn't have gotten the lemonade if it wasn't so hot, but now I got it, and I can tell you guys, from my experience, I didn't get a lot of things. I only got a lemonade and a slice of pizza, but both of them, they weren't that great. The lines for the food and vendors weren't that bad at all, and every single time the line was really short, less than 2 minutes, I would say. There was never any line when we went to go get something at the vendors. Next, let's talk about the people, aka the vibes of the festival. Moonrise Festival is going to go in my list of one of the best festivals that I've been to. And it's so crazy to say because Moonrise was so cute. It was so tiny compared to other festivals that I've been to, like Electric Forest, EDC Las Vegas, Lost Lands. But I'm learning more and more, like the more festivals that I go to, that I love the small festivals. I really do. I love the big festivals too. There's so much more to see and do, but I don't know, I really love small festivals, and Moonrise was just perfect. Everything that I experienced was amazing and memorable, and one of them was all the people that I met or all the people that I was around or that I passed. Every single person was so sweet and caring and kind and welcoming. I traded with so many people at Moonrise, and I feel like the last few festivals that I've been to, people really don't trade anymore, and maybe I'm just not going to the festivals that people are trading at, but I just feel like trading candy, trading perlers, it just hasn't really happened to me that much. I maybe trade with 1 or 2 people, but I can definitely think of a few festivals that I've gone through the whole weekend without trading with anyone. But it was really nice and really so hard to say. It was really nice and really refreshing how many people I traded with, and it was so funny. I think we were walking to a stage, and I think I was like my face was like not smiling. It was just really hot, and it was really hard for it to not get to me, but it was, and it was like right when we got there, and it was just really hot, so I think I was just like walking like that, and there was this person that tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to trade?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he traded me a candy that said smile, and I looked at it, and then I looked at him, and he was like, "Smile more, your smile is beautiful." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And I traded with him, and then when I traded with him, the candy broke. It went all over the place. So that was really funny. It really sucks when you try and trade and the candy breaks. It's just like, ah. But anyway, yeah, everyone that I talked to, all the friends that I made, everyone that, you know, the random people that you hang out with through the night and then you randomly don't see them again, everyone that we were around and that we were hanging out with, they were all so nice. But I do want to touch on something. So after Moonrise ended, on the Moonrise Festival Facebook group, there might be multiple, but I'm just talking about the one that I'm in. A lot of people said that they experienced so many negative people at Moonrise and no one wanted to talk to them and they couldn't make friends and everyone, you know, was like mean or, you know, negative, like I said. And I really didn't experience one negative person or one mean person, but so many people said that they had negative interactions, and I'm so confused by that. And if I remember correctly, I brought this up in my electric forest review video that people went on the electric forest Facebook group and they said that they kept interacting with negative people and they couldn't make friends at forest. And I didn't interact with one negative person at electric forest. I'm really confused on why this keeps happening, but from my personal experience, I really want to go to Moonrise Festival again next year because everyone was just so sweet. The next thing that we're going to talk about is transportation. This wasn't a camping festival. Sad. Super sad. If it was a camping festival, you already know I would go camping in a heartbeat, but it wasn't a camping festival, so we rented an Airbnb. Is it rented? We booked. So we booked an Airbnb and we got a shuttle. So our Airbnb was so cute, such a vibe. It was about a 25-minute walk, depending how slow you're walking, to the shuttle stop that we had. And I think that our shuttle stop was Power Plant. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Power Plant. That's where our shuttle stop was. And it was about a 25-minute walk or a 5-minute drive to get there. So we walked to our shuttle stop both days, and each day I felt very safe. My friend felt very safe. There was, you know, construction going on and we had to take turns and we were in neighborhoods and we were on like a major street. And even though we were on all these different types of streets, we felt very safe. This one person was like, "Are you guys in a band?" Because we were in like our festival makeup and like our festival outfit, and they were like, "Are you in a band? Are you guys in a band?" And we were like, "No, but I wish." And after that, we were like, maybe we should start a band. But yeah, it was just really nice interactions like that. We got a few people that honked at us, but you never know if they were honking at us, if they were honking at something else. But there were a few people that honked when we were in the area and there were no other cars around, so take that as you want. But other than that, I felt very safe. We walked back to our Airbnb and it was around midnight when we walked back on day one. I didn't feel like any kind of like feeling like I should be like watching my back, or that I should just like be watching my surroundings, or that like someone is walking behind us or someone's gonna hurt us. I didn't have any feelings like that, and my friend also felt the same way. We got a lift day two because we were just so tired. Our legs were like, please get a lift. But it was only a 5-minute drive, so it was only about $10 for the lift, which was really nice. We might have gotten really lucky with where our Airbnb was, and just, you know, that not a lot of people were out, but I felt more safe this entire weekend than how I felt when we went to Lost Lands Reunion in Ohio, and our shuttle stop was only 5 minutes away. It was only a 5-minute walk, and I felt more unsafe in Ohio than how I felt in Baltimore. When we first got to the shuttle stop, we went to this table and we showed them our shuttle stop tickets. They gave us a wristband. We wore that for the entire weekend. And then we went onto the bus, which was right next to the table. So their process was that they waited until the bus was full to leave. So even if you got on the bus, you would have to wait about 5 to 20 minutes until the bus is full and then they leave. So that was really rough. If you can bring something like a battery powered fan or something other than a hand fan, it was so hot. They didn't have the AC on, they only had the windows down, but there was no wind. So it was just a really hot bus with a lot of people, and everyone's like going like this with their fan, like trying to cool down. But yeah, that was really hot, trying to wait until the bus was filled, which I completely understand. You don't want to leave with 5 people on the bus and then come back. And if it's half full or almost full, I feel like it's okay to leave, but I'm just saying that because it was really, really hot on that bus. Next, we are going to talk about production, my favorite thing ever, because production means so much to me at a festival. If I hear that production is really good or just better than okay, count me in, because I love when the production is a-okay. The production was great. I felt like the stages were beautiful. They were pretty big for the most part. For a small festival like Moonrise, the stages were pretty big. There was also 3 stages. I hope I remember that correctly, but there were 3 stages. There was the lunar stage, the solar tent, and the other one that I just can't remember, but there were 3 stages. I'll put the name right here of the 3rd stage, but they were all really beautiful, really big, and I loved the design of them, especially the solar tent. It stayed pretty cool in there because it was this huge tent. And then the lunar stage was really beautiful, really big. I loved how the visuals looked on that stage. And then the one that I can't remember was also a pretty big stage. We didn't go to that one a lot, but when we did go to that one, it was a cute stage. The sound was also really great. It was, it wasn't like Lost Lands level, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've been to Lost Lands. It's not EDC level, but it was pretty loud. Compared to Electric Forest that I went to like a few months ago, it was pretty loud and the bass sounded really good. But I do want to point out that the lunar stage, you could tell that the sound would get quiet for a second or a few seconds, and then it would go back up. And it just kept doing that over the weekend. Like, we were at the solar, or no, not the solar tent. We were at the lunar stage for quite a bit of the sets that we saw, and you could just tell it was loud, and then it would go a little quiet and then get back to the normal sound. That sucked a little bit, but the sound was really nice. The stage design was really beautiful, and I didn't experience any sound bleed. And for a really small festival, I thought I would experience a little bit, and I was kind of expecting it because I like to stay in the back most of the time, and we were in the back most of the weekend, and I really didn't hear any sound bleed until you really walked away from the stage, and then you started to hear the other stage. So yeah, that was really nice. I give production, I would give it like a B+. All right, let's talk about decorations / art installations. Moonrise Festival did not have a lot of decorations / art installations. When you first walked in, I don't know if it's different for people that didn't take the shuttle stop, but for the shuttle stop area, when you first walked in, you saw these like dome things. It was like, you know those plastic bubbles that people like go in water and they're in those plastic bubbles? It was kind of like that material, that kind of thing, but it was a dome and then it had plants, but there were like a few lights in the plants. Like it wasn't anything crazy. I honestly thought it was kind of random. I didn't really understand the plants. They had like maybe 4 of those little dome things with like plant decorations, and then it was really cool. They had like astronauts that you could take pictures with. There was like one with the hand on the hip, and then there was like a really big one by Lunar Stage, and there was some like hanging from this like arc thing, and then there was one sitting on like this like wood piece. I think it was a plant, like a plant box, and then it was sitting on the plant box. So those were really cute. They also had 2 domes. One was a visual dome that had visuals on top of the dome, and the visuals would change, things like that. I didn't go into that dome at night, so I only saw it during the day, so it wasn't like, ooh, super crazy, super trippy, because it was during the day, so the visuals weren't that bright. And then they had another dome, and it was something that you couldn't sit down. So the one with the visuals, they had a bunch of like little beanbag things that you could sit down on. But the other dome was like little lanterns and paintings of like space and like colors under blacklight. I think it was blacklight colors. So it was more of just like walking around, taking out your diffraction glasses and looking at the beautiful artwork, the beautiful art installation that they created. So those were cute, but that's pretty much all they had. They didn't have a lot of art installations or decorations, and I do want to point out, because I wouldn't even say kind of upset, I am upset about this, that if you hold a festival during the summertime and you know that the weather is going to be 90s, even 80s, and you don't have any type of shade structure or canopies or anything to provide shade, it's not right. And they were supposed to have some type of shade structure, canopies around the festival, so when you're walking to each stage or when you're at the stage, there's little shade structures that you can sit under or stand under, and there was absolutely none of that. There was no shade structure, there was no canopies. Everyone was trying to find shade where like the fences were, and there was about 2 feet of shade because of the fence. Everyone was piling up on the fences. Everyone was trying to find every little inch of shade that they could find, because it was hot. It was really, really hot. Those were the only areas that had shade. So you just saw so many people trying to line up and trying to go where there was just a limited amount of shade. And that just, it makes me a little upset, because even if it's not a cool art installation, just get a few canopies for people to go under and to cool down, because it's way too hot to not provide that stuff. I felt so bad. There were so many people that they looked so hot and they were just trying to find every piece of shade that they could. So Moonrise, you need more shade structures. If you're gonna have a festival in the summertime and it's gonna be 90 degrees, you need more areas that provide shade for these people, because I really didn't feel like it was safe to not have those at the festival. And that brings me to one thing that I want to bring up. If there's a festival that's being held in the summer, or a festival that's being held or a festival that's being held during the day and it's hot, they should provide something that is like a mister, like fans that have misters and people can go to them, or just an area that you can like a sprinkler, or something that you can just like get wet real quick and cool off. I don't know, something like that. And I know it's really hard because you can't just have a sprinkler anywhere, because then if you put it in the grass, then the ground will get all muddy. So I don't know how they would work around that, But I do think that these festivals need to provide something to cool people off. One thing that comes to my head right now is at Electric Zoo, they had this like, it was like a promotion thing for a company, but they had this car wash and you could go through the car wash and it got you like soaked, so you were able to cool off. But it was also like a company promoting itself. I think it was a car company. I don't remember what company it was, but that was a really smart idea. I know Imagine has a few pools, and if you're camping at EDC, they have pools. So I know I can't compare Moonrise to EDC, but I do think that you either need to provide some type of misters to cool people down or some type of shade structure to keep people cool at these really, really hot festivals. So I already touched on this throughout this video so far, but I just want to say real quick, like I've been telling you, the weather was hot. The weather was really, really hot. If you go to Moonrise next year or whatever year that you're watching this and you want to go to Moonrise, be prepared to not bring layers. We brought a few layers on day one, and all that extra weight just made us more hot. Usually I bring extra sweatpants, a pash, and then some kind of, depending what the weather is going to be, a long sleeve, a sweater, or a hoodie. And day two, we didn't bring any type of extra layer because it was so hot. It stayed very, very warm until I would say about 9 o'clock. And then it didn't really cool down after that. It's just the sun wasn't out, so it was more bearable. But the festival ended at 11 and I was still very, very warm all day, all night long, and even walking back to our Airbnb. And to put into perspective, I am always cold. Like even in high 70s, I'm still pretty cold, but it was really hot at Moonrise, so just keep that in mind. Let's talk about security. So security was very easy. The line was really, really short all weekend, both days for the festival. They went pretty fast. I opened my bag, they searched my bag, and then we were through. The second day, we did bring sunscreen because we saw so many people with sunscreen and I kept having to ask people to borrow their sunscreen. So we were like, oh, they're letting us bring sunscreen in. So the second day we brought it and then they took it away, but they kept it in a bin and they said, just come back when the festival ends and we can come pick up our sunscreen. And we did, which was really nice. And then the second day they searched our bodies, and the first day they didn't search us. But that lady she was too up in my business, and she was doing it for everyone. And I get it, you have to search people, completely understand. Please make sure that I don't have any weapons or anything on me. Please check me. But she was like, it was too much. It was like uncomfortable. She went pretty deep, like checking the lining of my bottoms, and then she like full on went whoop, and like she was all up in here. So that was a little uncomfortable, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. So I'm happy that they started, you know, checking people's bodies on the second day. But yeah, security, very easy. Now let's talk about some of my favorites. Now, what was my favorite stage? Definitely the lunar stage. It was so unique. I loved how it was the phases of the moon. It was a decently sized stage. It was pretty big. I thought it was pretty big. The fireworks, some of the fireworks were really cute, and the lights were cute, and it wasn't crazy lasers or anything, but it was a cute stage, and that was definitely my favorite. Next, what was my favorite set? Excision, by far. Man, I love Excision, and I just, every time I see Excision, he blows my mind. Something about his sets, something about his music. It's always one of my favorite sets every time I see him. Every single time. He never disappoints, and the visuals, the vibes, everyone that we were around, everyone headbanging and making new friends, and you know how you like hold each other's hand and you're like, do you want to headbang? And just like everything about that set was so good. I do want to say that AC Slater comes in a very close second. I've never seen AC Slater, and I always see people talking about him. So many people talking about how good AC Slater is, and you have to see him live. He's so good. And I finally had this opportunity at Moonrise, and it was so good. It was such a great set. I've also been listening to AC Slater ever since I've seen so many people talk about him. I've been listening to his songs and his sets, and I've just been loving it. And just seeing it in person changed the game. And now if there's no crazy conflicts, and if I see AC Slater on a lineup, I'm gonna go, because that was so good. I was able to hear some of my favorite songs from him. So yeah, Excision with a very close second, AC Slater. And last, my favorite memory. My favorite memory is when we got lemonade and then we finished the lemonade, and we used that cup to literally continuously pour water on ourselves just to keep us cool, because it was so hot. We had to figure out something. We bought liquid death because it was cold, and we poured liquid death on us, and like, I don't know. I just feel like my friend and I, we really bonded this weekend, and we really helped each other out with keeping each other cool and keeping, you know, a positive mindset, and helping each other, making sure that we ate and that we drank enough water, and, you know, that we were just taking care of each other all around. And just the water was the icing on top of the cake, because we were just helping each other pour water and keeping ourselves cool. And it was really funny. We were just like soaked all day on day 2, but we were staying really cool. It just made us laugh a lot. So that was definitely my favorite memory. 2 more things before I end this review. First thing is the value of the ticket. Is it worth it? Is it worth paying however much the price of the ticket was to go to Moonrise? I would say yes. I didn't pay for my ticket. My friend actually paid for it for me, so I was able to go because of them. So I'll have to ask them how much the price of the ticket was, but it was really nice. I mean, there were 3 stages. I didn't experience any sound bleed. They did have other vendors other than food and drinks, like clothing and accessories, but we didn't go see any of them. There wasn't a lot of art installations, but it was a really small festival, and for what they provided, it was really cute. You know, we got pictures in front of the astronauts, and we went inside the domes, and we made candy inside the dome. It was really cute, and I talked to a few people that flew all the way from Florida to see Subtronics, and then they also went to Forest, and you know, we just bonded over Electric Forest, and they were super nice. And there was never really any line for the food and drink vendors, never really any line for the water. Security was really easy to go through. The lineup was stacked, and every single set that we saw that day was so good. So yeah, I definitely think that the ticket is worth the price that it was. Now, the very last thing, would I go again? 1000% yes. Like I said in the beginning of this review, I'm gonna try really hard to go next year, because I really did love Moonrise Festival. It was really great all around. If I could change one thing, it would be the weather, because it was just really hot. Actually, if I would change one thing, the weather is fine, but they really need more shade structures. Really do, especially at the stages. At least at the stages, provide a few shade structures. But yes, I would definitely go again. I'm gonna try and go again next year. Hopefully I can go. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this Moonrise Festival review, and if you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, just leave them in the comments below and I'll try my very best to answer them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!